Oh my goodness. Okay, question. How do you remember the moments surrounding the murder of George Floyd?
It's sad to say, but I remember feeling almost like, here we go again, right? Occupying space because the Minneapolis Police Department or one of the Minnesota Police Departments like murdered a community member
Yeah,
is old news, and I've been doing it since I was in high school.
that's right.
So I figured it was kind of just gonna be another summer of protesting in Minneapolis. I was not expecting community members to turn up the way they did. How did it feel to know I was so involved in the protests and uprisings over the last year?
It was a mixture of pride, frustration, anxiety, long nights without sleeping, and simply because I was witnessing the fact that society as adults was robbing you guys of your youth. But proud because that's the kind of young man I was when I was your age. You guys were telling us adults, you're not doing well. This has to stop, and we're still not listening. Those in power.
If I were a kid growing up in Minneapolis today, how would you talk with me about MPD?
In America, the context of police is very tied to slavery. Coupled with recent event with George Floyd, it will not be a favorable, comment about the police. I myself, as a black man, had my share of being brutalized, mentally terrorized by the police. It hasn't given the positive return that society has wanted. Maybe it's given to a certain group, but for the most part, it hasn't served well in our communities.
Like policing as an institution as we know it is relatively new, but community safety is as old as time. I think maybe people in my generation are just like so fed up and are so done with like respectability politics and like being perceived as like, a good black person or one of the good ones or like a good Negro that we feel like sometimes we have nothing to lose.
And you're right in the sense that you have nothing to lose because society has not given you the option to gain something.
Right.
But I have, done my own 360 since I've been involved with you and, having spent a whole year at George Floyd Square since it's as kind of the epicenter. We had a chance to see with the barricade, with the occupation, that it's possible to have a community look at safety differently. And whatever craziness was going to the community, we took care of it. For people in my generation, we tend to look at the police in different light, but after coming out of this experience, I'm 100% down with the fact that we could imagine a society without the police, or in the way that we want it.
Yeah. What kind of Minneapolis do you want my kids to grow up in?
Well, I think that what I want for my grandchildren is to live in a society where they understand mental health.
Yeah.
They understand the fact that resources will be provided. And it's kind of weird to think of little Isak walking around, but
God forbid.
but it will happen. So, but I think, in a nutshell, is how do we put the infrastructure in place?
Yeah.
Like the type of building we're trying to erect for, the wellness center. Knowing that a person can walk into a building, they can have mental health therapy, they can have a yoga class, they can have homework assistance. If a teenage mother wants to take a break from her kid, we can take care of that. And it exists already. The sad reality that we are buffering over envisioning when it exists in people who live in the suburb have everything that we're discussing. We don't have to reimagine anything. It exists already.
Just redistribute.
It's just understanding that, one group of people have hijacked the process. And the police officer work really well in certain part of town, and they don't in other part of town. So we're wasting our time reimagining. It's already there. You just go look through the window or walk in certain neighborhood and you know that's there. So I think that you guys see something that a lot of adults have not seen yet. And they're kind of afraid of embracing a future where young people are leading the way. You gave me a sense of a new purpose, and I'm excited about what the future has to offer for all of us.